Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs and Happy New Year 2024.
Happy New Year.
Big apologies about last weekend. It wasn't even a nor'easter where I was. It was rain most of the day, but then it turned into snow right at recording time.
Yeah.
And then the worst part about living near the ocean is the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
Because my town still has not recovered from all the flooding. Yesterday
was...
couldn't get anywhere.
No.
Couldn't get anywhere.
It was worse yesterday.
It was ridiculous. I was driving down and I happened to get by the beach. I actually had to stop my car and get out because I've never seen the beach look like that. The way the waves were slamming against the wall and parts of the wall that never get hit.
Yeah.
It looked like the inside of a washing machine. I've never seen anything like
crazy.
it. And my daughter and I just like stare and I'm like, holy shit. And morons, fucking morons.
I'm down there.
Right at the railing.
I can't.
I guess people don't realize that the ocean kicks up anything in its way,
right.
including fucking rocks. Yeah. People are idiots.
Yeah,
it's the same moron that gets out of the car to go touch a bear.
I can't. My aunt sent videos of the island. And the
must
water
have
is
been
just
wild.
like up across the streets. Like, it's unbelievable.
Oh, the pier. You almost couldn't see the pier.
Yeah.
It was right up to the floorboard. So sorry about that we didn't get these titillating episodes to you on time. So you're going to get them today.
Yeah.
We're going to just release this week because we feel bad. If we were better planners, we would have recorded sooner, but that wasn't going to happen.
I mean, there was the holiday.
It was crazy.
Stuff going on.
So welcome to the new year.
Yeah.
And we're going to discuss typical New Year resolutions again.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do not write this episode as New Year's resolutions again. Oh my.
Oh my.
So we're going to talk about debt and
Ozempic.
Ozempic, the drug of choice these days. Fucking
Right.
everybody's on it.
I mean, I just would I know. Okay, we'll get into it.
Okay.
Right.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
I can go first.
Okay.
All right. So I got my information from Forbes.com, everydayhealth.com, and uchealth.org. You're going to have to bear with me on these pronunciations because it's not pretty. Ozempic. Everybody's heard of it. It's
the newest, greatest weight loss drug.
weight loss drug. It's a...
Falls off of you.
Yeah. I'm going to get into what exactly it is. It's scientific.
I hate scientific.
I know.
This is why you did
Ozempic
that
is
one.
a semaglutide. I'm not saying that right.
Something with sugar.
It's a glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist, which is GLP-1 class drug. Other drugs in this class are, like I said, semaglutides are Ozempic, Wegovy, and Rybelsus. I'm telling you these
I know there's a
pronunciations.
commercial out there for Rybelsus.
Yeah.
I know there is.
Another class is liraglutide, which is branded as Saxenda,
Anglo?
Saxenda,
Sassenach?
and Victoza. And another class is tirzepatide, which is branded as Mounjaro and Zepbound. They all mimic GLP-1, which is a hormone naturally made in the body, which boosts insulin production in the pancreas in response to food intake. So it makes you produce more insulin, which helps control blood sugar. It affects the hunger centers in the brain, specifically the hypothalamus, which reduces hunger, appetite, and cravings. And it slows the rate of stomach emptying, which prolongs fullness after meals.
So you feel full all the time and you're not hungry.
Feel full. Your digestive system kind of just slows down. So your stomach isn't emptying really fast. So you're not like, oh, I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
And it also affects your brain, which doesn't let you think like, oh, I want this. I need that. I want sugar. I want salt.
Right.
I want this. So the net result is decreased hunger, prolonged fullness, and ultimately weight loss. Because if you're not hungry and you're full, you're not eating. Wegovy, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, is an FDA-approved weight loss drug since 2021. It is meant for people with a BMI of 30 or higher or a BMI of 27 with other obesity-related health problems like high blood pressure. Ozempic is an FDA-approved drug for patients with type 2 diabetes, and that's been approved since 2017. So they've been using this for type 2 diabetics since 2017.
Because I know people who have been using it for their diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Mounjaro is another FDA med for patients with diabetes and is it won FDA approval in 2023 to treat obesity under the name Zepbound. So
Zepbound.
It was a drug for diabetes, and now they're just letting them use it for
weight loss.
Weight loss, period.
Period. End of discussion.
Semaglutides like Ozempic help improve blood sugars without causing hypoglycemia in type 2 diabetics, and is proven to lower A1C and helps lower the risk of strokes and heart attacks in these patients. It's a very effective drug for type 2 diabetics. It really improves their health. It's a very effective drug for type 2 diabetics and patients with obesity or who are overweight with other comorbidities. Approximately 80% of patients with type 2 are obese. So if 80% of people with type 2 diabetics are obese.
Type 2 is usually caused because of obesity.
Right. So this treats both of those problems. It treats your diabetes and it helps you lose weight, which then helps treat your diabetes. Right. However, these drugs have not been studied on normal weight people and can pose serious problems. These are excellent drugs for overweight, obese people
type 2
with
diabetics.
With type 2 diabetes. They have studied it. They've seen what it does. Normal weight people are now taking this to drop an extra 10 pounds, an extra 20 pounds.
Which Kim Kardashian's denying. I think she's taking it.
I don't know.
I think she said she's taking it.
I don't know. She doesn't look
alluded
bad.
too often.
But she's, I don't know. But they don't know what this does to a normal weight person whose pancreas works correctly, who, it supplies the correct amount of insulin. They don't know what this drug's going to do to you. Since Wegovy is in high demand after being approved, because that's the weight loss drug, and then that had inventory and supply chain strains, many people started using Ozempic off-brand, which then interferes with the availability. Oh my God, availability of Ozempic.
And we're in straight water, guys. Straight water
for people with diabetes. So Wegovy was just for weight loss. There were supply chain issues. Blah blah blah. It's in high demand.
They moved on to Ozempic.
They went to Ozempic because it was available, and now everybody's taking Ozempic, and type 2 diabetics can't get their Ozempic, or it's just harder to get.
And it's being sold like a black market drug. Something. I mean, my girlfriend was getting it. Somebody had prescribed it, not somebody that she actually ever had seen, they mailed her a vial for $2,000, and she self-injected.
Right, but then people with their type 2 diabetes
can't get
actually need it. Their pharmacy's like, we can't get it because they're making more money selling it to these people this way.
And it's all about money.
Right. And that your insurance covers it if you're type 2 diabetic, right. But these people are just paying cash out of pocket. They get more money.
$2,000 for a vial.
Yep.
It's like crack.
Dosages for Wegovy and Ozempic are different. So this is another thing. You shouldn't be taking what you would be taking on Wegovy and Ozempic.
I had a family member on the Wegovy, and she got really sick. She lasted a week. I think she was overdosing on it.
Yeah, so the dose for Wegovy is 2.5 milligrams. Ozempic goes from 0.25, 0.5, 1, or 2.
Which
so
is
Ozempic
significantly different.
Is less than what the Wegovy dose is. They're both weekly injections. People using Ozempic are encouraged to start at the lowest dose and then gradually increase it. When you're on Wegovy, you're just hitting that 2.5 right away. Insurance covers these drugs sometimes, especially if the patient medically needs them to treat diabetes and other comorbidities. The price of an Ozempic injection pen is $953.77.
Wow.
That Zepbound, the different drug that I had mentioned before, that's for weight loss, costs over $1,000.
How many injections are in there?
It's weekly.
It's $1,000 a pen?
It's $1,000 a pen. Wow. Once you start these meds, you need to stay on them to maintain the results. They're meds to use. These meds are used to treat chronic conditions, so they are meant to be used long term.
Yeah.
When you stop taking them, the weight will come back unless the person has made a commitment to significant lifestyle changes. This is like, yeah, sure, great.
It's a quick fix.
You can take it, and you're going to drop 60 pounds. Great.
But if you don't change anything, it's going right back.
It's going right back unless you are very strict. You've changed your complete lifestyle. You exercise now all the time. You eat in a calorie deficit. Unless you do things that people do to lose weight,
right,
you're going to gain it all back. You cannot use these meds if you have a history of pancreatitis, a family or personal history of medullary thyroid cancer, or multiple endocrine neoplasia 2. You should also not take these meds if you are pregnant, plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding.
You literally sound like a commercial.
I know. Side effects of Ozempic or the other drugs in this class. Nausea and vomiting, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, pancreatitis, hypoglycemia.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, kidney problems and allergic reactions. It can also cause vision changes and exacerbate retinopathy, which can lead to vision loss. A lot of diabetics have retinopathy, are prone to retinopathy, so they do if you're a diabetic taking this medication, they would do an eye exam. They would make sure you didn't have these changes already. They do yearly eye exams if you are on this for diabetes to make sure your eyes are okay and healthy. If you're taking this off brand and getting prescribed it by somebody who's never seen you, they're not following your eyes. They're not checking.
Not looking to see.
You don't want to lose your vision because you want to lose weight.
Right.
Just keep that in
If you
mind.
lose your vision, you want to see how big you are.
Yeah. The FDA is now investigating these meds because of many claims of hair loss and suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. I can't attest to these suicidal thoughts, but from the people I know on it, hair loss has happened.
I'll get into it. So many patients also complain of Ozempic face. They look gaunt and older because of the rapid weight loss.
They look like somebody who's had a gastric bypass.
That's
they all
that's
have
what I was
the
going to
same
say
look.
about the hair loss. There's a
malnourishment.
look to people who have had weight loss surgery or are on these weight loss drugs. Your face looks super, super gaunt. Your hair thins. Not everybody. A lot of people. Your hair thins significantly.
It's brittle looking.
You can usually, I think also because we work in this, like if I see somebody, I'm like, oh, I bet they had surgery. Oh, I bet they had weight loss surgery. Oh, I bet they're on weight loss pills. You can just see they have a look about them, and the Ozempic gives you the same look. Ozempic and other drugs in this class are excellent for patients with type 2 diabetes and other comorbidities, as they've been proven to work for these. They do a great job. They get the patients healthier. It's a great drug for patients.
For what it's used for.
When it's used appropriately. They control blood sugar in type 2 diabetics combined with diet and exercise, and they reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, cardiovascular death in individuals with type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. However, it is not for quick weight loss or short-term use. The effects are unknown in this case and should not be used for this. There was doctors interviewed, and they were like, well, what do you think about the Ozempic just, for the quick, I need to lose 50. I need to, but otherwise you're a healthy person. They're like, we're not even discussing that because that's not what these are for. They won't, they're like, it's not what it is for.
Right. Most people won't be able to tell you it's a type 2 diabetic drug.
No.
Everybody knows it's a weight loss drug.
But even the weight loss drug is meant for people at a certain BMI who have comorbidities.
And have type 2 diabetes.
Well, you don't have to have the type 2 diabetes, but you need high blood pressure, other comorbidities that weight gives you. Then they've studied it and they're like, you are at such a point in your systems are being affected by this. This drug is helpful to you and it's not going to harm you. When you're a normally healthy person and you just want to lose a little vanity weight, we don't know what that's going to do to your body. Weight.
I just think everybody's looking for that quick fix.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to make the lifestyle changes.
Right.
And I've seen a few of them that have taken a lot of weight off with the Ozempic and are already putting it back on because it's expensive to maintain that if you're not prescribed it.
Right. And it's like I said, it's a long-term drug.
Yeah, that's my point. So they're not going to spend that money over and over and over, know.
You're supposed to be on that for the rest of your life because it's for someone with type 2 diabetes who's not cured of that.
But it's the same people that I've known their whole life have always, a few of them have always gone the quick route.
Yeah.
Always gone the quick route. I mean, losing weight is a commitment. And if you have to make those lifestyle changes. There's one of the women we work with had a recently, I think she's 6 months in, had a sleeve. She and her husband both had a sleeve, and she's dropped 88 pounds.
Wow.
She was saying her hair. She's on, is it Nutrafol? Some drug for your hair. It's really expensive, and I think you take it orally. She's like, I lost it in clumps, and they said that was going to happen, but they never really tell you how bad it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've changed everything we eat, and I'm really happy we did this. And, and she was eating her lunch. It was like sashimi, no rice. And she's like, I'm so glad I did this. I needed to do this. She goes, now though, I don't look at the not even the popcorn, because that's not that bad for you. She goes, but I don't look at that other food and think, I have to have that.
Yeah.
She goes, there was a cake sitting in front of her. She goes, could care less. She goes, 6 months ago, I'd have had 3 slices and all the whipped cream, So I hope for her, because she looks great and she needed to lose the weight. I hope for her that it sticks.
Right.
But I have been leery of Ozempic since it came out.
Yeah. Even if you have the surgery, if you're taking Ozempic, you have the surgery, whatever it is, you still have to do lifestyle changes because the weight will still come
I've
back.
seen plenty of gastric bypass people put it all back on.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's forever. Like you
Right.
still have to
You
change.
have to make a commitment.
You have to commit to
Yeah.
being healthy, and that's, whatever you do, however you're doing it. Obviously, it's good to be healthy. It's good to
Right.
be at a normal weight.
But it's not
For everything.
easy. It's never going to be
It's
easy.
never going to be easy.
And people are looking for that easy pill so they
Right.
don't have to put the work in. You
Right.
have to exercise. You have to watch what you're eating. You have to say no to things. You have to. I look at money like food like money. All right, I want that, but how much am I willing to pay for that?
Right.
I should maybe eat this instead because it won't cost me as much.
Right.
So I always use it like money.
Right.
So following everybody's weight loss, everybody's in the gym, January 1st, and they all quit by January 15th.
Have you seen those like videos on like Instagram or something like, why did I come to the gym today? Like, and it's people who always go to the gym and
On January 1st, yeah.
people doing all like stupid things on the machines.
Oh my God, those
so
are the best. But, I mean, everybody I'm gonna change my entire life and it's gonna be so different. And then by January 15th, everybody's fucking back on the couch.
I mean, it's good to have goals, but like,
Right, but you
try to
got to
stick
try
with
to achieve them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, now the bills are coming in.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Here comes the
Grab
Christmas
the
bills.
fire. You wanted to get your kid everything in the world, and well, now you're going to pay for
Yeah.
it. So I am talking about mental health and debt. Now, I'm a little all over the place with this. Okay. So common ways that mental health can affect your spending. Let's see. You're feeling low or depressed can mean you lack motivation to manage your finances. Spending can give you a brief high, so you might overspend. I know many people like that.
I mean, it does make you feel.
Was I at Marshall's yesterday? I was so fucking proud of myself at Marshall's. Fucking proud of myself, Mike. He's like, yeah, really? Lay it on me.
Yeah.
It's Marshall's. It's like $10.
No, you would think, right? So I had walked in a couple of days ago. I saw this really cute blazer. Fell in love with it. Adorable. I'm like, oh, I love that. And I can't stop thinking about it. And then I saw a similar blazer on Michael Strahan's daughter, who just came out with brain cancer. She did an interview and I was like, oh, that looks adorable at the gym. I'm going back. I'm getting the blazer. I go back, get the blazer, try it on. Looks great. It was $130.
Oh, what was it?
I don't know names. You know that. You could throw fucking Chanel in front of me.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it was,
it wasn't like
probably
it wasn't a name I knew.
Okay.
But it was $129 at Marshall's, if that doesn't tell you everything. Okay. And I literally was like, oh my God. I looked at my daughter. I'm like, does it look like $129 on me? Like, well, I'm like, no, it doesn't. All right. So I put it back on the rack and I walked away.
Wow.
Very proud of myself.
Good
I
job.
saw a very adorable trench coat in a magazine, different kind of color. I'm like, oh, I love it. Did not buy it. It was $90. I am committed to trying not to make my impulse purchases.
Good job.
So yes, does it make me feel better? So I think I bought something else stupid instead, but it was only like $10.
I was gonna say, but there's the thing, like I love to shop.
Oh, I know.
But like sometimes when you're like, nope, I'm gonna put it back and not buy it, you get a high from that too, though. Like
I'm good. I'm being good.
I
I'm being
did a
good.
good job.
Yeah.
Like I'm really proud of myself.
But I can understand how spending makes people feel better.
Yes.
If you are manic or hypomania, you make impulse purchases. Like if you're manic, you're going to go buy a car. Or you might buy a trip to Europe for 10 days. Low energy affects your ability to work, so there's no income coming in. You avoid bills altogether. Like they keep piling up. And if you do like I did in high school, I have a project due on Monday. If I just don't look at it, it doesn't exist. And mental health can affect your insurance. So you have to spend, is that what I wrote? Your insurance. So you have to spend more. Oh, because you have to spend more on your insurance because now you're in and out of facilities and et cetera. Okay. So money problems. They can cause anxiety and panic when the bills start piling in. It can cause sleep problems. You might not be able to afford things to help you stay well. So, okay, you're in debt, so you stop paying the heat. You're in debt, so you don't go food shopping.
Right.
You're not going to pay rent because, well, I can't afford it. You may feel isolated because you can't afford to go out with your friends anymore. They're all going out for night on the town for dinner, and you're like, oh, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
In April of 2022, 28% of adults said that money negatively affects their mental health. 45% of U.S. credit card holders carry a balance from month to month. And I mean, $10 is one thing, but we're talking, these people are carrying thousands over. They're paying the minimums and they're carrying a $30,000 balance on their credit cards. 45% of the U.S., that's half of this country is in fucking credit card debt. 43% have no idea what their interest rates are on a credit card. I remember being in high school and in accounting, and they were saying the return on your credit card, the interest rate on your credit card is actually worse than what the mafia would charge you. They're 21% on these credit cards. Mafia would be like, here's money. I want a 12% interest back. They're like, the guy's like, it's literally worse than the mafia that you're getting. Yeah. And it really stuck with me. I'm like, well, they're right. A lot of people have no clue that minimum payment's basically paying your interest rate.
Right. It's not touching you.
It's not touching the debt. 57% said not having sufficient emergency funds is mentally affecting them. Emergency funds, like, okay, you're out of work for a month. Do you have money for next month's rent? Do you have a stash of money saved if something happens? 56% say they can't pay everyday expenses. That's your heat, your electric, your cable. 66% said their financial situation will never improve, and they say because of inflation. No. Honey. You had that debt fucking 4 years ago. Inflation didn't make it. No. Probably made it worse because the shit you're buying is more expensive, but you didn't.
Yeah, but you can't base your debt on inflation. Goes up and it comes down. And it goes up. It goes down. Please. It has done that for since the beginning of time. It will always do that.
It's an excuse. Yeah. 19% say their main goal in life is to pay off debt. 60% of U.S. adults say that they have high anxiety thinking about their finances. I get that. 44% whose debt got worse during COVID said it will take 30 more years to recover.
No.
What were you doing? Now, yes, I know you didn't work. We fortunately worked all through COVID, but there was things in place, and, you have to say no. You have to buckle down. So it's going to get into
Mike lost his job during COVID.
Are you going to take 30 years to get out of debt, Laura?
No. Right. Yes, I was lucky enough to work, but
these are excuses. Yeah. I think people like to make excuses to not get out of bad situations, which everyone's like, that's not fair, but that's just how I feel. I feel like a lot of society makes excuses for their bad decisions. So debt for anyone, regardless of income, can have major issues with stress, anxiety, and depression. People in debt are 3 times more likely to experience stress, anxiety, and depression. These feelings can actually lead to further debt. 72% of people polled said they will go into more debt when stressed because you're spending to feel better. You're going to take a vacation to get away from the stress.
You know what? I need a me day. I'm so worried about this. I'm going to go get my hair and nails done because just to make me feel better. What's really going to make you feel better
is paying off the fucking debt. Yeah. Most consumers fall into 3 categories. I like to think we are category 1. Okay. We use debt responsibly and proper resources, like overtime. They were calling it human equity, to pay off debt. So I've got a prom coming up. Not me personally, but my daughter's girlfriend. And the dress is more expensive than my wedding dress was. And I've got some trips coming up. So what am I doing? I'm picking up overtime to pay it off ahead of time. So when I go on that vacation, it's fucking paid, and I'm going to feel great that it's paid. And I get to just, any money I take is to spend on stupid trinkets in wherever the hell I am.
Right. I'm going in literally after we record.
To make more money.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there. I just want some piled away. Like, I'm free. I'm going to go and work.
Now, not everybody has the opportunity like we do to just pick up overtime, and I understand that, but you can pick up second jobs. Yep. I mean, this economy, the unemployment's high.
You can Uber Eats.
You can Uber Eats, you can drive, there's ways, always ways to make money. I always had a hustle going, whether it's babysitting, I mean, there's dog walking. You can always hustle to make a little money, but you have to hustle.
Even when the kids were little and I only worked weekends, I would watch other people's kids.
Yep. To make a little extra cash.
Little, just like that was your spending cash for that week or whatever.
I would babysit. I collected cans when I was in college and I'd cash those in. It was $20 for the week, but that was, lunch.
Right.
So human equity to pay off your debt. Others use debt irresponsible with absolutely no way to pay it off. They just keep charging, and I don't know if they think eventually I'll die and the debt will go to somebody else. My brother lived like that, God bless. Rely on debt to fund basic living needs. So you're using your credit cards to pay your heat, to pay your electric, to pay your mortgage, like whatever, your rent. You don't want to be using credit cards to pay for fucking anything, ever. People in debt are 8 times more likely to commit suicide.
100%.
Because you've got that wing, and it's easy. Like if I kill myself,
it's gone.
Then the debt is gone. It's not my problem. So if you have a debt problem, Laura, and you don't want to go and do overtime, Laura, Mental Health Org says, ask yourself these 4 questions. Do I often feel anxious when thinking about how I manage my repayments? Am I struggling to, or do I routinely miss the minimum payments towards utility bills, credit cards, or rent? Do I avoid telephone calls from unknown numbers and ignore letters from creditors?
Oh
Because
my
you know,
God.
I'll tell you, you can't find out where Jimmy Hoffa is, but if he was in debt, the fucking credit
Oh,
card
yeah.
would have known where he
They
was
know
in a
exactly.
second, you know? Am I able to put money aside for an emergency fund? Those are the 4 questions. So if you have no extra money to set aside, like the way people live shocks me. It absolutely shocks me. So, as we said, all these debt stresses lead up to a toll on your mental health.
Yeah.
You'll be in denial, the inability to believe the truth when confronted with facts like, okay, there's your credit card bill. You owe $45,000. And you're just like, no, I don't. No, this is wrong. They must have done. No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. Those in emotional debt stress will just pretend there was no problem. They'll just pretend, or they'll just ignore them and never open them up because there is no problem. For them, denial is easier than fixing the problem. All denial will do is cause your debt to go higher. It causes stress and tension. Emotional stress affects your view of the world and your place in it, making even the most positive experience seem bleak. So yeah, you had a great, wonderful vacation, but well, now I'm another $5,000 in debt.
Right.
Like this was terrible. I shouldn't have gone. You know, physical stress. You're going to have low energy, headache, frequent colds. When you're under stress, and my parents don't understand this because my mother went through a stressful event. She's very sick. She's been sick since. I'm like, it's linked to
Right.
what happened.
Your
No, it
stress
isn't.
causes stress on
It
your
causes
body.
your immune system to drop. So you get frequent colds and infections, and this can lead you calling out for sick to work, and now you have no income coming in.
And you don't want to pick up that extra
Right,
job
because
because
you
you're
feel like
tired.
shit.
And I'm like, how can I work another job
If I'm sick all the time.
Right.
Or you're in the hospital and now you're racking up medical bills on top of all the other debt. Cognitive problems, inability to focus, poor judgment, being overly pessimistic about life and life events, behavioral issues. Number 1 for me, procrastination. That's my favorite. Changes in appetite, nervous behaviors like nail biting or pacing. You know, they're just tapping, or they're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? And it's like a rock sitting on you when
It
you have that kind of
consumes
debt.
you.
Yes, because it affects every aspect of your life. You can have feelings of frustration or regret. Maybe I shouldn't have bought that PlayStation for my son. It's his 4th. Embarrassment, the size of the debt, like telling somebody, oh yeah, my credit card bills are over $50,000. They're horrified, you know?
I think that's a huge part of it. Is like I think they like turn in
Because
like they're so
people are gonna be like,
embarrassed.
what do you mean?
Right.
Like, what did you buy? How did you get there? And then you feel like an ass. Like, how did I get here? What did I do? Like, how do I get? And I'm never going to get out of it.
Right.
I think there's that despair where I'm never getting out of that kind of money.
I think it's that makes people shut down. You can.
I mean,
You
it's
can.
overwhelming. There is ways, and we're going to talk about it, but I think it's, again, like weight loss. It's a fucking commitment to get out of debt.
Yep.
It's saying no to a lot of shit
Yep.
and buckling up. But usually it's only for a short time. You just buckle down, you can get out of it. Relationship stresses, resentment and irritation for the significant other who is spending. So you're not a spender, but your husband is, and he's racking up the bills, and you're fucking working to pay them down. He keeps bringing in more shit and more shit.
Yep.
36% of couples divorce due to financial issues. Arguments about money are the top predictor for divorce. They would say there's 3 things for predicting divorce: religion, money. What was the third one? It was something very obvious. Kids.
Yeah.
If you can't agree on kids, you can't agree on money, you can't agree on religion, forget it. Don't get married. So a quick note how generations feel about debt. Boomers have the lowest rate of stress due to debt. Boomers, 1945 to 1965, I think. The lowest rate of stress due to debt, 19% report no debt threat. That only 19% of them report they're stressed about debt. Gen X, 34% are extremely stressed about debt. 33% are somewhat. Gen X has the most mortgage debt of any generation.
Wow.
But it's a mortgage, not rent.
Right.
Millennials, 36% are extremely stressed. They have the highest amount of student loan debt of any age bracket.
I mean, well,
Yeah, I believe it.
yeah.
Gen Z, 47% are stressed about debt, and that's more than any other age group. They are the highest stressed about debt, which I don't know why, because they're barely working right now. They just got out of this high school. So 3 ways to cope with debt. Face it. Face your debt. Start paying off your debt and make more than the minimum payment. You can never pay off that debt if all you're making is your minimum payment. Pay off. So Laura and I have been going back and forth about this guy, Dave Ramsey. We're going to bring in Dave Ramsey into this because he fits right into this fucking conversation, okay? Dave Ramsey. My husband read Dave Ramsey's book. It had to be 15, 20 years ago, The Snowball Effect. And he was, I can't remember what he said, but he would say like a boot camp. We're going to boot camp. Our debt. We're getting out of debt. Blah, blah. And this is what he did. He paid off the smallest thing we had first and then took that money and he dumped it on the next one. And then when that was paid off, he took that money and dumped it. And it snowballed in to everything was paid off. Yeah. He did a great job. So that's pay off the smallest debt because you're also going to feel a sense of accomplishment. I was going to say,
that gives you a sense of like, I did this.
Right. I got one done. I'll do it again.
I can do it again.
Now I got $40 a month.
It's not that dreary, like, I'm never getting this done. It's like, shit, I just finished one.
Tackle one problem at a time. You got 15 cards coming in. 14 of them, you're going to pay the minimum payment. You're going to pay off one. Then you're going to dump that and you're going to pay off two. And then you're going to take 1 and 2 and you're going to pay off 3. And it will snowball.
Yeah.
Prioritize where you can get a second job or budget. Put a little away every week towards debt. Now, you cannot realistically say I'm putting 50% of my pay away to debt. That's never going to happen. But you can say $40 a week. I'm going to stop putting, that's going on to some kind of debt. Just start paying it off. Or ask for help. These credit consolidating places, they absolutely work. They will take all of your debt. Some of it they can clear up for you and be like, we brought this down to this. You only have to pay that. And they will make it one monthly payment you can do. That will help a ton. And go to mental health professionals. Talking to somebody about your stress can really help maybe give you a game plan on how to fix it, how to deal with it. Debt is no fucking joke. No. And when you and I both have friends that we're like, holy shit, how do you live? How do you live like that? You know, I was talking to somebody about my husband just bought a car or truck. And it had been a long time since either one of us had purchased a vehicle. So we're both in there. We're like, okay, I don't know, $400 a month for a car payment. Okay, that's what we're going to ask, you know. So the car salesman sits down. He's like, all right, what are we looking at a month? And don't say $300 to $400. And both of us look at each other. We're like, well, I'm not going over 5. I'm not doing that. And then I was repeating this at work, and somebody's like, mine's $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month.
No.
Yep.
No.
And didn't bat an eyelash. $800 a month. I'm like, what are you fucking driving? A Mercedes? What are you, like, $1,000 a month? That was for a minivan.
No.
And I'm having a stroke over $500 a month.
I'm having a stroke over what?
Yep. $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. And the credit cards, well, you know, I feel my credit card's out of hand and it's like $2,000. Yeah. And that's my business credit card that's on hand. Other people are like, $2,000. I owe $35,000. I'm like, $35,000? That's a fucking car. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you have to get out from debt. So Dave Ramsey also has a podcast.
So we started, my dear friend Katie, she's very good. She's always been very frugal, very good with her money, puts it away, stocks it away. She's probably got $3 million under the mat. Yeah. Like, she's always been very interested in it. Like, I'm not buying that. What do I, like, very good with her money. Generous, but good with her money. Right. But she
not stupid with it.
She's always like, listen to Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, blah blah
blah. My husband, Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. That was his guru.
She always will mention that. She has a financial, like, she's very good. Yeah. So she was saying recently to me, like, oh, do you ever listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast? I was like, no. I like know his baby stuff and all that stuff. And I was like, no. And she's like, I don't like him, but I like listening to it. And so I started listening to it. Mike's ready to murder me, but I don't care because I put it on so he will listen to it too. Like when we're in the car, he has to listen to it.
You have no choice. That's not right if you have no choice because he's tough to listen to. I got through like 15 minutes and I'm like, I am going to fucking scream if I have to listen to his condescending, arrogant prick face one more time.
He's tough to listen to. Not my favorite.
He's very self-righteous.
Very
condescending.
Very condescending. However, I feel like in some of the things I'm like, I know other things I think he's the opposite of
he's a little extreme. I think he's a little extreme.
However, I listen to it because I feel like it is putting my money on my mind.
Yes.
Constantly. So if I listen to that podcast 2 times a week, I'm constantly thinking like, how can I make it better? How can I make my money work for me? Like, how can I do this better? How can I, so I've come up with like different things like I'm going to do now because I listen to him. Is it what I'm doing exactly what he says? No. Am I listening to his condescending attitude? No. But it's making me think about my money and how I can make my money work for me better.
His fucking number one is you do not use credit cards to pay for anything. If you do not have the cash, you do not buy it. He doesn't even believe in using credit cards to get miles on your card.
Oh, God, no.
Absolutely. You do not use credit cards for anything. Credit cards, I mean, it's some of the places, the only way to build your credit is to get some credit card and show you can pay it off. But they can be a vice worse than any drug.
Well, his thing is you don't need a credit score.
You do if you want to. I'm not paying cash for a house.
If you can pay everything, that's his goal. So I'm like, okay, that's
unrealistic. And so Brian and
there are people who do it.
Brian and I at 1 a.m. are arguing about this because he'll defend David Ramsey like it's fucking Jesus Christ. I was like, Brian, nobody, especially in New England, no kid is coming out and dropping $800,000 that they saved in fucking high school on a house. You have to have a mortgage.
Right.
You need a credit score for a mortgage. That's unrealistic for him to think. Like the one I was listening to, the woman wanted to buy a vacation property. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, did you pay off your house yet? Because if you didn't pay cash for your house and you can't pay cash for the second house, well, then you don't do it. I'm like, but that's not realistic for most people. I have a shit ton of equity in my house.
Right.
I'm not going to pay off my house. I don't have any intentions because I could say I was going to drop an additional $2,000 to pay off my house. I could take that $2,000 and maybe put in an investment, and it's going to give me more of a return than it would if it was in my house. So I'm going to use it smartly, but I'm not going to. I could make more money not paying off my house.
Right.
And then you've died and you've never had a vacation.
Exactly. I said to Brian, I'm going on vacation. Like, I'm never not going on vacation. I'll work my fucking ass off to pay. We just booked Amsterdam. I'm going to work my ass off till March, until I can't get any more overtime, until that's all paid off.
Well, so we're going to Amsterdam. Our friend booked it, so we have to pay her the money for it. Mm-hmm. I've worked overtime, I don't know, for a month. She's like, hey, this is how much you owe. I'm like, perfect. I sent it to her immediately. Like, I'm like, that's how
I want this all paid off.
I'm going. Yep. That's how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to work and then I'm
pay
going
it off.
Right.
I don't want that on a credit card. No. I don't want that hanging over my head. Yeah. I will not enjoy the vacation if I have to think I got to pay that when I come home.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I'm going to have like $3,000 on a credit card when I get home, and now I got to do
When I go on vacation, I don't even take my credit card. Everything I buy on vacation is money. Usually I happen to go on these big vacations right after my Christmas club pays out. I take a chunk of that. Mm-hmm. That's what I spend it on. Mm-hmm. When it's out, we're done. I'm not buying any more souvenirs.
Right.
But goddamn, I have a good time. So
that's what I don't agree with everything. I think even if you just listen to anybody, if you find anything, any financial podcast,
put your mind in that mindset.
If you're thinking about it, it's just going to help you along the way.
And get help if you're that boggled down with debt. And people, some of them, the debt, they just don't see how bad it is. Talk to a consolidator, talk to a finance person who can maybe say to you, maybe sell that third car, maybe sell this and put that money on your debt.
Right.
Because when you can say to people, no, my credit card's paid off, I've got money in the bank, it's a really good feeling.
It just lightens a huge load off of you.
It's like a weight off your shoulders.
And I think it is a huge thing with embarrassment and shame having the debt. And it's embarrassing to tell people that you have that debt, but I think you'd be surprised how many people are going to be like, oh yeah, I have 20,000.
Or I got out from under that debt and here's how I did it.
And they might be able to tell you, but it's also someone that's you might be like, you know what? I told them I owe $40,000.
And they didn't bat it. Yeah.
They didn't bat an eye, but also I'm like, it kind of holds you accountable now, like of what you're doing.
Right. You want to come back and say to them, I got that down to 30.
Hey, I'm down to 30. I'm down to 20. I'm down to 10. Like, it's just someone it's embarrassing to say it, but I think it helps in the long run.
I mean, there was a time in my life, my credit cards got out of hand. Yeah. All of us get out of hand. Yeah. I broke my back to pay them off. But
it's not like I've never owed money.
I'm not perfect. We've all, money. I mean, I want something.
Don't listen to me for financial advice. But
I want something, I fucking bought it, especially in my early 20s when I think a lot of us rack it up. But it's learning how to change that mindset and be a little more responsible. So if you've gotten through the holidays and all your fucking credit cards are out of control, do what you can. Listen to David Ramsey, listen to Susie Woman, go to a financial advisor, credit consolidates, and see what you can do to help alleviate that, to take that stress off of you.
Yeah, it affects you mentally and physically.
Right. So we have an email. We're going to, because you guys have started hitting us rapid fire, we're going to read a couple more on the next one. Doesn't mean stop emailing us because we love these emails, so keep sending them in.
Yep. So this one is from Jesse, and it says, Laura and Nicole, thank you. This isn't going to be one of my usual lighthearted emails. This is coming from the deepest depths of my heart.
Oh.
I lost a very dear friend of mine last summer to what I guessed were complications from cirrhosis. It happened so fast. He was diagnosed in March and was gone by July.
Wow, that's quick.
Yes. He was young, just 37, and was very private about his condition. He didn't talk about it, so for all this time, I didn't understand exactly what happened or how it happened so fast. You two, as you do, covered it in clarity and with humor that makes your podcast so easy to listen to and understand. I adore you both, and even more now that I can finally understand what my friend went through. His name was Jerry, and he was the brightest star. Thank you. I'm wishing you and your families a very Merry Christmas.
Oh, Jerry. May you rest in peace. Poor guy. Addiction it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And that he had to have quite an addiction at 37 to
happen that fast.
And it sounds like he was hiding his addiction too.
Yeah.
So thank you for writing in. Sorry for your loss.
I know.
It made the holidays, I'm sure, a little harder for you. And hopefully maybe that can help somebody else in the future.
Yeah.
So that is the email we have for today.
Mm-hmm.
Happy. It's been a happy, cheery episode all the way around.
Don't take Ozempic. Work hard.
You take Ozempic, you're going to get melty face and lose your hair. And then you're going to be in so much debt from paying for the fucking Ozempic, you're not going to get out of bed. You're going to put all the weight back on.
Yeah. You know what? If for all of this, even poor Jerry, everything takes work.
Yep.
But nothing, you can't, it's not like you can't
There's no
overcome
easy
any
fix
of it.
to
There's
anything.
No
if
easy
it's
fix.
easy, it's too easy.
Yeah.
There's never an easy road to take for fucking anything.
Right.
If
everybody's doing, if they're staying healthy, if they're staying out of debt, if they're staying off of
it
drugs
takes
or alcohol, it's work. It's hard
You have
work.
to go to Marshall's and put the blazer that you've been thinking
Yes.
about a week back.
Yeah.
It's just how it works. It
Yeah.
wasn't
You
easy.
gotta
for me.
go and pick up an extra job or
Yes.
work extra.
I love my job and hate my job. I have a love-hate relationship with my job. The thought of spending any more time there than my allotted hours makes me want to vomit. And yet I put in an additional 8. I was very proud of myself.
You did
because I
8.
can't tell you the last time I did overtime. I fucking hate to be there. And I'm going to keep going.
Good job.
Keep going.
Good job.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, welcome to the new year. Keep writing in. We enjoy the emails. If you're in debt and you're bringing it down, or you have a story of how you got yourself out of debt, or you have an Ozempic story, and if you have what the complications are, or you think it was a goddamn breeze, write it in and let us know.
Yeah. Or you lost weight another way over a long period of time, but you did it.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.